Okay guys, so in this video I'm gonna share you my quick story on how I made my first $10,000 a month in pure profits. And I hope this helps as an inspiration because for the record, I'm Mexican, so I didn't have any money to begin with. Right now, I'm in beautiful, remote Alaska, just traveling around the world, all with, online money and whatnot. So let me just circle back to when I started my business venture, which was actually in 2017. And the reason why I started my online venture was because I stumbled upon a video in which a guy called Adrian Morrison or something like that was, doing this type of webinars offering e-commerce services actually. And the funny thing here is that back in 2017, and especially coming from Mexico, I never heard someone talk about the possibility of making money online. Like for me, just the fact that you can travel around the world and by clicking just a few buttons you can make money, I was just completely in love with that idea. And especially because I was going against the grain, like nobody in my social environment was doing that, so I pretty much locked in. And to be honest, I never find to manage success until that was in 2017. So in 2018 I started to actually make my first real money with e-commerce. I was actually drop shipping, so I did that in 2018 and I was able to make around $15,000 across, let's say, 3 to 4 months. But I don't consider that a success because I ended up with just like $3,000 in pure profit. So I was going back and forth with e-commerce like until in 2019, early 2019, mid 2019, I was able to sell my business, right? So it was a drop shipping store. So I profited like $5,000 on that single trade, which for me, for the record, that's huge life-changing money. Like I don't come from money. I didn't have any money to begin with. And when you come from a third world country, it's quite hard because usually, unless you're from the top 3% of the population in third world country, it's a struggle. You need to support your family. You're always thinking how to make money because life is pretty much hard. Let's keep it like that. Life is hard when you come from a third world country. It's not like my buddies from the US, Australia, Canada. Guys, you have a lot of opportunities, right? So it's tough, especially because you cannot even for example, when I was starting my e-commerce businesses, I couldn't even process payments. It was only through PayPal because Stripe didn't allow Mexicans to have a payment processor. Great, right? So with that being said, I was going back and forth. I was very good at e-commerce, and I think I managed to launch in 2019 another store, which was relatively successful. You know what I'm saying? But still, I wasn't able to make the breakthrough because there's a big difference in between making a few bucks here and there and making consistent life-changing money, which for me is the $10,000 a month mark. So I never actually quit it. You know what I'm saying? I wrote down in my goal card. A goal card is pretty much like a card where you write up your goal and put a date of when are you gonna achieve it. But even although I was past the deadline, I never managed to stop the idea that I was able to make $10,000 a month in profits through e-commerce. So the situation happened that I was back in 2020. I was in a position where I dropped out of school because I was telling my parents please give me the opportunity to drop out of school because I wanted to prove them that I can make money online, because for me there was no plan B. For me there was no okay, I'll just, if it doesn't work out, I will just go back to school and continue with a normal job. Like for example, when you come from Mexico, I was fortunately studying in one of the best schools in Mexico, which at that moment I didn't know my parents were doing a lot of effort in order for me to be there, which was nonsense because I was learning nothing. For those of you who might know, it's called Tecnológico de Monterrey. So that's a very prestigious school, and I didn't learn anything. I dropped out halfway, because it was just quite dumb. And I was saving a lot of money from my parents. In fact, I inherited school debt that I didn't knew I was committing to. But that's another story, right? So I was there, and I was in a position where I needed to make consistent money in order for me to actually, sustain my e-commerce businesses, because in my head was if I just start a business, that's the only way to make money. You know what I'm saying? But I was wrong. So what happened here was, which was quite funny, was that I stumbled upon Fiverr basically. I was watching videos how to make like some side hustles in order to make money and whatnot. So guess what? My only expertise in which was I was quite good was on e-commerce. So I started like offering a lot of services, video editing, product research, website development, all that good stuff. And I was like thinking, if I was able to just make 4 clients and able to make, let's say, $1,000 in pure profit, I'm set. I don't care about anything, because that will give me time in order for me to just survive and keep working towards my business. Because like, again, failing for me was not an option. I was gonna make it somehow, even although I had like so many discouraged moments, months, years when I was consuming so much knowledge. I was thinking like, how these guys on YouTube are actually making like 6-figure months and whatnot, and I knew I had like enough information, but I was still not able to manage to make it. And when you're at that point, you kind of, when you see a lot of people making money and you try and you don't seem to make it despite the fact that you've been consuming a lot of information, that's a discouraging moment, because you think whether if it's actually real or if people are scammers and whatnot. So until you see it, your bank balance, you think everything is a scam, right? So it's a very beautiful lake though. But yeah, so I was doing that, and the thing here happened that I was offering that as a service, and I never managed to even comprehend that I was gonna be able to make much more money than I thought. So to not make the long story short, within the first 3 months of my journey freelancing, I went from zero to $10,000 in pure profit a month, close to $10,000. Let's say it was like 8,000 or 9,000, and from there I never looked back. And for someone who's actually wondering, yeah, like that is life-changing money. It might be not millions and millions and millions, but like it was life-changing money. It was just literally freelancing. So just for you guys, for the record, I'm gonna tell you right now, freelancing is much better than starting a business. A lot of you guys, I was that guy, thought that, I needed to start a business. Guess what? When you need to start a business, probably you not only need skills, but you also need money to absorb the impact of your mistakes, But the beauty about Fiverr and freelancing was that I didn't have any money to begin with, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't even paying for advertising, which was my biggest bottleneck back in the day, because I needed, because nowadays you don't need it, but back in the day you needed to have money for running advertisements. Otherwise there was no way for me to get traffic, right? So basically I stumbled upon it, and within 3 months I was like completely mind blown. The first month, it was in March 2020, February 2020, nothing, right? But it was halfway. So it was like February 2020, but let's say I opened my account on February 15th, something like that. By March 15th, I got my first client. So that was a $200 profit, which for me was like, holy shit, right? And after that, it was funny because I started to get more clients. So, but like a snowball effect. That's why I talk in other videos like about the snowball effect. But after that, I was just able to close another client and another client and another client. Also, it was like quite a quite positive thing for me, because it was just starting the pandemic. Actually, it was just before that. So, but it did help a part in for me to becoming more successful. But it was like early COVID, so I was able to capitalize on that, because everybody wants to start their online business, and I was the best one, right? But also, like, I want to give a little bit of context of you guys, because a lot of people think it's luck and whatnot. I do think it's, of course, there's an element of luck. However, when I was starting out, like if you go on let's say on Fiverr and you click website development, you will find that there's like, I don't know, like 100,000 people selling the same type of services. So how I was able to succeed when there's a lot of competition, and the reason being was because throughout my journey, I became so good at selling. So basically what I did was, it was not that I was delivering the best services on Fiverr, or that I was the best video editing service or the best website creator. But the thing here was that I was able to sell better than the competition, because guess what? Most of the competition is from India, Bangladesh, third world countries. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like that I was like relatively good at English speaking, I was able to outcompete them so easily. In fact, the only person who was like toe to toe against me was a US girl who was making like a ridiculous amount of money as well. So we were just like the top one, but it took me like 12 months to become the number one in my category on Fiverr in the world, So because it was a game of understanding how the algorithm works and how to sell it better than the competition, which, trust me, in platforms like Fiverr, it's quite simple. But the bottom line here was that I stumbled upon it. I didn't look for it, you know what I'm saying? So it was freelancing and that's when it clicked. I was like, why was I grinding, like trying to build a business when I was like when I'm telling you, like I was $10,000 a month pure profits. It was pure profits because it was like a one-man army. It was myself. And the beauty of it was that I was, with that amount of money and with that type of like freelancing, I was able to pretty much work around the world. Travel around the world, work anywhere I want. I didn't have any money to begin with, no sales call. It was all through text. It was basically anonymous. So there's a lot of perks that I found within Fiverr, and I was quite gatekeeping that information for a long time because I didn't know why I was successful. You know, it took me quite a few years to understand why I was able to become successful here on Fiverr freelancing. So, you know, as a piece of advice, if you're just starting out, I would definitely, unless you have like a lot of money to test, I'll definitely suggest starting like through freelancing, because you don't want to start making money on a thing that will probably require you not only a lot of time, even managing people, but also some money to begin with. It's pretty much nonsense. Like, again, as I was telling you, because that was when clicked, that I was able to go from 0 to 10K a month within 3 months just freelancing. That was completely what changed my life, literally. And there's another story that I lost pretty much everything I made after 2 years of starting my journey. I think it was even less, but someone is coming. But yeah, that was pretty much it. That's my story on how I was able to make $10,000 a month in pure profits. Look at this beautiful lake. Alaska, baby, Alaska. So yeah, if you want to learn how I do it, just comment below, or probably you can find in the next video how you can do it yourself. It's completely free. You don't need to pay anything. I didn't pay anyone to get started on Fiverr. I literally just discovered myself. And yeah, so the things that I'm gonna teach you on the next video, if you click it, is like pretty much universal. So you can apply this and it will be pretty much stored in your stock of knowledge, because it's not something just like a blueprint. You know what I'm saying? It's also about thought process and how you can actually make it work out to your advantage. Whether you choose to use freelancing as your vehicle to make $10,000 a month, or you try to start like a different business, it's all applicable, but I'm just teaching you exactly what I did in order for you to take advantage of it and make money. So click on the video below. Trust me, it's gonna be like full of value. Like, I'm telling you, because I put a lot of effort and I actually go very specific in detail how you can actually understand it in a simple way. So click on it, and yeah, if you want to comment something or want me to talk about something specific, let me know and I'll be happy to record it. Okay, take care.